Hi and welcome to my YouTube channel, and we're up to wonderfully episode 4 of my father-in-law, Bishop Cecil Williams, who's sharing some of his life story. So thank you so much for being with us again, Cecil. Would you continue with where we left off last time? Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. In the last episode, mostly in the last 3 episodes, I've briefed you about my childhood and my youth and my married life, and this was all secular side of my life. But now I will tell you something about my ministry as well. So I told you that I was in this process of becoming a priest, and then I was ordained as a curate in 1987, and then as a priest, full priest in 1988. And I was alongside my this principalship in the school. I was doing the ministry as well in the church as well, in both the churches on different times, in All Saints in the city area and the cathedral St. John's in the cantonment area. I never had a plan to come to England, and it's amazingly that I always preached from the pulpit that we should always stay in Pakistan and preach gospel here, because England has already got so many. England is sending missionary outside, and so they don't need it. Perhaps I didn't know at that time, and they don't need it. So we should stay here and stay in Pakistan and do our ministry there and preach gospel there. This was I used to tell people, but I didn't know what as in the beginning I said that God always has a plan in our lives, which perhaps we don't know, but when He is guiding us, when He is taking us, and I made the commitment, the first commitment to God, that wherever you take me, I will go and I will work for you. So anyway, the circumstances in Peshawar were such that I could not stay in Peshawar, and I had to, through the diocese, it was not my own, but through the diocese of Peshawar and diocese of Leeds, I was sent to Leeds to work here with the Anglican Church.
Could I ask a question there? Because obviously people will be thinking, well, what are these circumstances? Do you not feel able to share the circumstances why you had to move?
Well, I don't want to go deep into it, but
Okay.
there were certain people who turned against me.
Okay.
And
like in the church or outside the church?
Well, in the church and outside the church.
Both?
Yes, both, yes.
Difficult.
Yes, and that is why, I mean, because it's, I don't think it's proper to disclose many things.
Yeah, okay,
Yes.
okay. So you came to England, what, as a refugee? Were you fleeing a difficult situation?
Well, I was fleeing from the difficult situation, but it was arrangement through the diocese.
Yeah, okay.
Diocese of Peshawar and
so your church helped you
yes.
to move?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And this church, I mean, Bishop, what was his name? Watson, something, I don't remember the name now. He gave me the appointment here in St. Martin Church on Chapeltown Road.
In the UK, Leeds?
In Leeds.
In the UK, yeah, okay.
Yes. Uh, and then from in St. Martin Church, we started a fellowship in Bradford. It was with Reverend Arun John that we started Arun John was from India, of course. And we started a fellowship in Bradford. This fellowship was, we called it South Asian Fellowship, Bradford, South Asian Fellowship in Bradford. And there was congregation. I'm still wedding a sort of a group you see in Bradford. We meet once every month and during the week as well.
A Christian
Sometimes
group.
Christian group,
Yeah.
you see. And we have services and yes, we are still doing it. When I was in St. Martin Church, it was my, I always wanted that there should be something different in the church. So I requested the PCC of the church and the priest, Jim Siller was priest there, to start some healing service in the church.
Oh, okay. Right.
And I think it was 2000 and perhaps 5, maybe in the beginning of 2005 that we started the healing service there. And after the church service finished, then we will meet there and people would come, we will sing a few hymns and then whatever their problems are, I would pray for them, you see. I still remember and one two amazing things in St. Martin's I would like to share with you.
Yeah.
And the first one, that there was an old lady, his name is still alive, but she has got dementia nowadays, quite a severe dementia. And her name is Mildred. She is black. And she requested me to pray for her granddaughter who was in London. Granddaughter and her daughter, they were in London. Because there were some demonic powers acting on her granddaughter, and she would run away from house. She was a university student. She would run away from the house and would not go to university, and this was this was the situation. So I said, okay, I'll pray. I always, usually when there is something serious, I lay my hands on the person and then I pray. So I laid my hands on that black lady, Mildred, and I rebuked that evil spirit who was tormenting this granddaughter in London. And then I didn't know because she was in London and I was in Leeds. But that evil spirit that left that girl, and the girl was okay then. And her mother then sent me and my family, my son and my wife and my son's wife, they sent tickets for us, the bus tickets, to go to meet them in London and stay there for 2-3 days. And this was as a gesture of, thanks, you see.
Well, so that you could have a little holiday in London.
Yes,
Right.
yes, yes.
Okay.
So we did go, and we enjoyed our stay there.
That's great.
And yes, so this was about this. And then it was in 2005 again, or perhaps, yes, it was 5, you see, sometime. I went to a lady who was also a black lady, just to visit her. I went with, she lived in Parton Newton Heights on Parton Newton Lane of Leeds. And I've forgotten the name. Barbara. Yes, Barbara Howard. And when I sat there, she said, I'm not feeling well. I said, what's the problem? She said, it's my heart problem, and I'm not feeling well. I said, okay, I'll pray for you. Again, I laid my hands on her head, and I prayed for her. And then I after some time, I left house, I came back. She was all right, but she never told me about anything. But after many years, I was in the church. It's only, I think, maybe 5 years back now. I was in the church, and she also came. She's quite old now. She came to the church, and we were talking to each other, and I said something, and she said, "Oh, do you remember you prayed for me in my house on Martin Luther Lane?" I said, yes, I remember. I said, when you were praying and you laid your hands on my head, something from your head came and went into my body.
Something from your hand?
Yes, came and went into my body, and then my heart trouble was gone.
But at the time, she never told you that?
No, at that time she never told me. It was many years afterwards.
So there's actually a good lesson there, isn't there? That, like it says in Hebrews, that it's good to share good things with the pastors or the leaders, for younger Christians to share good things that are happening. Because like if she would have told you, that would have encouraged you at the time, wouldn't it?
Yes, yeah. But she never told me. She told me afterwards, you see. Mm-hmm. So, but there were so many other such type of healings, because I was doing the healing ministry as well. And then it was in 2000 and I think 13 or 14 perhaps, I don't remember. There is a family in Bradford, and they told me that their nephew, perhaps, in Pakistan, he is on ventilator. He has a lungs problem, and he is on ventilator.
Wow.
And you please pray for our nephew. So myself and my wife, she was alive at that time, we prayed for him. And then after one day, they just told their family in Bradford, because they didn't know me and I didn't know them. So I was not directly talking to them, but it was through the family who lived in Bradford. Mm. So they told that the person is, that ventilator is taken off, you see.
Wow.
And the person is all right now.
Fantastic.
And
praise God.
This they told me, but it was during this pandemic, 22 last year, yes. Last year they told me that the same person had some problem of influenza or something like that. And he went to the hospital again, and he went to the same doctor who treated him on the ventilator. And he went to the same doctor, and the doctor asked him, "Are you the same person who was on ventilator?" And he said, "Yes, I am." But he said, "I see your lungs are quite good and quite new."
Wow.
So...
and that doctor would have probably taken an X-ray or something, wouldn't he?
Yes. Yeah. We checked him.
Yeah.
And first he checked him when he was on ventilator, of course, and then he checked his head. And that person from that time had no trouble, no anything of any lungs or anything, you see. He is all right, still all right.
Yeah.
And
thank God.
So I thank God that God is using me, and through prayers to many people. And but the thing is, if you have faith, because if you have faith, then you will be healed. We need faith. I tell you, there is person in Pakistan whose son is doctor in Abbottabad. There is a missionary hospital there, Bach Hospital near Abbottabad in Pakistan. And one day it was Saturday perhaps, I think, evening, he phoned me and he said that my son is in critical condition and he has got COVID and he's in critical condition. These are the words he used. And please pray for him. I prayed with his father. That was evening time. And I said, okay, I'll pray with you tomorrow as well after the church. When I go to church and when I come back from church, I will pray with you for your son. I came from church, but he did not phone me. I waited, and it was evening time, and it was night in Pakistan, of course. And then I phoned him, and I said, you will pray, and you did not phone me. And he said, oh, I am not in Peshawar. He was in Peshawar. I have come to my son who is in the hospital. And this morning he phoned me that I am all right, and I went to the church for the Sunday service.
So he'd gone to church and he was healed at the church?
Yes. No, not in the church. He was healed, and that is why he went to the church for Thanksgiving.
Right, but he didn't tell you?
No, he didn't tell me. I phoned him,
Yeah.
and then I came to know.
Crazy, isn't it? So there's a bit of a theme here. You know, we need to pass on answers to prayer for others, especially if someone's been used by God to bless us in some way. Let's tell the person, because it encourages them.
Well, they should. I mean, otherwise, the person who prays, you see, they don't know what is happening and what is God doing.
Yeah.
I mean, in those families, you see. But everybody is like that. You see, I can't say. I mean, and even in this Leeds, it was the pandemic had just started. It was 2020, you see, and there was still no vaccine, no medicine, you see, for this pandemic. And there is a family in Bradford, and the whole family got the COVID, husband, wife, and 3 children. They all got the COVID, you see. But children, of course, and husband was in a bit better condition. But the wife was in a very critical, really critical, because he had a high temperature. He couldn't speak.
She
couldn't speak. A high temperature, no taste, was not eating because there was no taste. And every sort of symptoms of this COVID she was having, and she was, she thought that she is going to die now.
Wow.
Yes, she was so much, couldn't get up, you see, from the bed. And this was our condition, you see. And then her husband phoned me, and he said that this is her condition and she can't speak, so can you please pray for her? I said, okay. I prayed over her, and I said, okay, you put the phone near her ears and I will pray over her. I prayed over her, and then I said, okay, you bring oil and this olive oil. He brought a bottle of oil, and I prayed over the oil, and I said, okay, you just massage her whole body, you see, with the oil. And he did it. And next day when I phoned them, myself phoned them, she was all right and she was speaking to me, and she was thanking God. And amazingly, she then phoned her surgery, and there was a doctor there, and she told him that I got COVID and I'm all right now. And the doctor was a Muslim doctor. And the doctor said, what did you do? She said, I did nothing, only our priest prayed over me and I'm all right. And she said, the doctor started laughing. How can it help? How can it be? Anyway,
Wow.
but she is there and she is still in our family.
Yeah.
And I thank God for all these testimonies also, my ministry testimonies.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I was talking with my wife just a couple of days ago, and we were talking about how usually, as the New Testament tells us, gives us the accounts like you're sharing, usually God gets people's attention and draws them to consider him through wonders, signs, healings, deliverances, things that people can see humans can't do, so it has to be God, and God gets their attention. So we should, as young Christians, as new Christians, we should be asking God for his power, for his gifts, the gifts of healing, the gifts of miracles. We should be asking him for them, because one of our main callings, after loving God first with all of our heart, mind, soul, body and soul, is to love our neighbour as ourselves. We can only do that by God's power.
Yes,
you know,
yes, of course.
I mean, he can help to listen to someone, be sympathetic, be empathetic, you know, to hearing people's troubles. But really, people need real answers. And, you know, as we read the New Testament, as we've been hearing today, God's in the business of meeting people's real needs, setting them free from depression, demonic powers, physical sickness. God may use a doctor, he may not. It's irrelevant. Healing comes from the Saviour, who on the cross, as we believe, Jesus, as 1 John chapter 3 verse 8 says, the reason the Son of God came into this world was to destroy the works of the devil.
Yes.
Yeah, and everything wrong, everything up to death, sickness, depression, it's all of the devil. And Jesus came, and we need to appropriate the gifts, the power that Jesus has won and made available for his church, so that we can continue to build his kingdom. You know, it's not an option, it's not something that would be nice to do. No, you know, Jesus said, go into all of the world, build my kingdom, make disciples. So these testimonies that we've been hearing last couple of minutes about healing, this is part of what we as his church, his people, are supposed to be using. You know, so thank you for sharing.
I mean, Jesus was always, wherever Jesus went, there were about more than 5,000 people more than following him, always following him. More than that even. But usually, I mean, it used to be 5,000, around 5,000. But what were they? They were there to listen to gospel and to be healed.
Yeah, that's right.
Our ministry, our Christian...
They were desperate people.
Desperate people, yes. Our Christian ministry is healing and teaching. Teaching or preaching gospel and giving them the healing. Maybe through our medical facilities, or maybe through our prayers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever we have. And that is why I think in the whole of the world, wherever the missionaries went, they started schools, they started the hospitals.
Yeah, teaching and healing, yeah.
Teaching and because schools, of course, were for teaching and preaching as well. Teaching and preaching as well, and healing as well, you see.
Yeah.
So this is our ministry, you see. And
Amen.
and we should, as Jesus has been doing it, so we should also continue to do it.
And you know what, that reminds me of Jesus' words. Just shortly before he went back and was ascended, before he returned, he said, as the Father has sent me, so I sent you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Jesus said to the disciples as well, he said, don't go anywhere until you have received power from on high. And then when they had done on the day of Pentecost, that's when they had God's power on the inside of them. Lord, thank you for sharing those things, Bishop. That's fantastic. Is there anything else you'd like to share now, or should we finish there?
I think we better finish it now. If there is any,
we will carry on in
we will carry on, because I have to get it remembered.
Yeah, of course. So for now, God bless.
Sometimes.
Thank you, and God bless.
God bless you. God bless you too. Thank you very much. Thank you.